It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory.
Playoff football in the Lone Star State has meant Dallas Cowboy football for 16 of the last 17 years. The very first playoff game the Cowboys ever participated in was back in 1966 in the Cotton Bowl against one of the greatest teams of all time, Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers. Today, these two clubs square off again with the roles reversed from that first meeting so long ago. The Packers are in the playoffs for the first time since 1972 and are decided underdogs against the established Cowboys. Their coach, Bart Starr, was the team's quarterback when last the Pack battled Tom Landry's Chargers. The latest successor of Starr's old job is not a Hall of Famer like Bart, but in 1982, Packer signal caller Lynn Dickey has been a dependable and successful performer. After years of injury and disappointment, Dickey has finally hit it big and leads a Green Bay offense that can cause any opponent genuine concern. The Packers' aerial game boasts two of the finest pass targets in pro football today. One is remarkable athlete James Lofton, who has proclaimed himself the league's best wide receiver. Few have disagreed. Lofton's outside partner is the begoggled John Jefferson, a receiver who has brought a sunny disposition and sure hands to Wisconsin dairy country. But there's some good hands over on the Dallas side as well. Quarterback Danny White is on his way to another Pro Bowl appearance. Along with the core of the Cowboy ground game, all-time rushing king Tony Dorsett. The arm of White and the legs of Dorsett should help make this game a bountiful smorgasbord of wide-open football. From Texas Stadium, it's round 2 of the NFL's Super Bowl tournament. The Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys on the NFL Game of the Week. In 1982, Tony Dorsett was the NFC's rushing champion and set a record that can never be broken, a 99-yard run from scrimmage. Dallas bases its offense on its ability to run, so Green Bay's most important defensive assignment was to stop Dorsett cold. Dorsett would gain 99 yards on the day, but few of those yards came easily. Inside or outside, Green Bay was waiting for Tony and usually knew what to do when both sides met. But you can't keep a good man down forever. And Dorsett did spring a large gain or two with power running up the middle. Dallas totally dominated time of possession in the first quarter, thanks to Dorsett's running and short but effective passes by Danny White. The Cowboys weren't being flashy, but they were moving the ball and keeping it. Despite the lack of possession time, the Packers earned 2 moral victories by twice keeping Dallas out of the end zone. In one instance, it was the Cowboys who stopped themselves when tight end Doug Cosby, number 84, failed to hold on to an almost certain touchdown pass. The Cowboys had to settle for 2 field goals by Raphael Septien, one covering 50 yards as the first quarter ended with Dallas ahead by only a 6-0 score. In the first 15 minutes, the Packer offense had failed to make a single first down against the Cowboys' flex defense. Just a week before against the St. Louis Cardinals, the Green and Gold had scored 41 points almost effortlessly. But scoring of any kind in the first half was going to be tough. especially when the front four of Jones, White, Martin and company came a-callin' on Lynn Dickey. Dallas mixed in linebacker and safety blitzes as well to disrupt the Packer passing game. And running the football was equally as tough, as Green Bay fullback Gary Ellis, number 31, found out. Finally, in the second period, the Packers made their first big play of the game, when number 35, Del Rogers, broke outside for an important gain. A second look shows Rogers got excellent escort service from tackle Greg Cook, number 68, who led the way, then chopped down the force man so Rogers could add to his acquired territory. A few plays later, Dickey found number 80, James Lofton, open in the end zone, and the Packers had their first lead of the game. For the second week in a row, Dallas had dominated an opponent statistically, only to find themselves behind in the second quarter. Last week it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this week it was the Packers, thanks to Lofton's catch that put the visitors ahead 7-6. But in their game with Tampa, the Cowboys had fought back to retake the lead and eventually win, and they began to reestablish that trend shortly afterwards. A pattern emerged that would continue for the rest of the game. When Green Bay scored, Dallas would roar back with a score of their own. Danny White came up with a first rebuttal late in period 2 by continuing to click on safe but effective short passes. With almost a minute and a half to play, fullback Timmy Newsome, number 30, sliced in for the Cowboys' first touchdown of the game to make it 13-7 Dallas. It was Newsome's second touchdown of the playoffs, having scored on a pass reception a week ago against the Buccaneers. But the Packers didn't appear to be too worried. Green Bay had enough time to try for one more score before the halftime gun sounded. But instead of getting at least a field goal, they did something much worse. Dickey fired a pass that found its way into the arms of cornerback Dennis Thurman, number 32. And for the second playoff game in a row, a member of the Dallas secondary returned an interception for a touchdown. It was the first of 3 interceptions for Thurman in the game. And it came at a time when Green Bay was starting to overcome the Dallas dominance of the first half. With this score, the Cowboys pricked a damaging hole in the Packer balloon and tucked away a far more secure halftime lead. Thurman's theft was an appropriate conclusion to a half that had featured defense. But the second half would see almost all semblance of defense vanish as the Packers and Cowboys would fill the Texas sky with footballs. With only 30 minutes to go and with a hostile hometown crowd harping in their ears, the Packers began the second half intent on throwing the football, something they hadn't done well in the first half. But improvement did come, and it came immediately. Green Bay got 4 first downs on consecutive plays, but then fell short on a near-miss pass to tight end Paul Kaufman, number 82. Still, the Packers got a field goal from kicker Jan Stenerud, and were soon on the move again, thanks to a well-conceived screen pass and a great individual effort by Gary Ellis. Tight end Kaufman then chipped in with 2 clutch catches over the middle, and it appeared that Green Bay was about to go into the end zone for their 2nd touchdown of the day. But Dallas stopped the pack when number 26, Michael Downs, ran a safety blitz, nailing Dickey and forcing Green Bay to settle for yet another 3-pointer from Stenerud. For the football fan who thrives on action and a barrage of big plays, this second half would certainly be 30 minutes to remember. Like 2 heavyweight champs, Dallas and Green Bay pounded each other, matching big gainer for big gainer. First-round pick Rod Hill, number 25, ignited the Cowboys midway through the 3rd quarter with a stellar kickoff return. Hill's 89-yard journey resulted in a Rafael Septien field goal, extending Dallas's lead to 10 points once more. And then quarterback Lynn Dickey looked long for his graceful All-Pro James Lofton. Lofton netted a quick 50 in what was becoming a playoff track meet. Then suddenly the Cowboy defense reared its ugly head on the very next play, coming up with a big play of their own. Middle linebacker Bob Brunig ate up Eddie Lee Ivory, and Green Bay's 50-yard pickup was quickly erased. Number 58 Mike Hegman alertly recovered Ivory's miscue as Green Bay blew tremendous field position as the 3rd quarter drew to a close. But it didn't take long for Green Bay's explosive attack to log yet another big play. The man who would turn in perhaps the greatest individual effort of the day was James Lofton, who many believe to be the finest athlete in the game. On the first play of the final quarter, Lofton proved why former 49er head coach Bill Walsh considers him to be the greatest player in the league today. Lofton cruised untouched for a 71-yard score as the Packer end-around, which has been their most formidable weapon all year, again paid off. Stenerud missed the extra point, however, but Dallas's lead was cut to 23-19. The game was indeed a unique one in that, as in the first half, whenever the Packers would score, Dallas would storm right back with a score of their own. Stanford's James Lofton was Green Bay's prime tool, but unfortunately for the Packers, Dallas had Stanford's other talented wideout, Tony Hill, whom Danny White immediately called on for duty. On an important 2nd and 7 situation, White bought time, and Hill made a great leap and catch. Hill caught a pair for 40 yards on the drive, and with the Packers' brace for the medium-range pass, White crossed them up with a nifty delayed screen to Timmy Newsom, which netted 21 yards deep into Packer territory. From the 7, the Packers desperately wanted to force a field goal. Tom Landry called a pass, and the result was 6 points, as Danny White's play-action fake did the trick, and tight end Doug Cosby did the rest. Names like Pearson, Hill, and Dorsett come to mind when folks think of the prime elements in Landry's intricate computerized attack. But now Doug Cosby must be listed as a big member of that offense as well. He plays a great deal more than Landry's other tight ends, Billy Joe Dupree and Jay Saldy. And near the end zone, he rarely misses an opportunity to put points on the board. Cosby's catch put Dallas up 30-19 as he quickly atoned for his critical dropped pass in the first half. And if you think he wasn't happy about it, well, just check out this spike. A convincing Danny White fake and bootleg made it all work. The Cowboys extended their advantage to 11 points, and with less than 10 minutes left, Green Bay needed a pair of touchdowns to take the lead. Lynn Dickey went to work to accomplish precisely that. James Lofton was just the man for the job. But when Dickey looked for his other all-world receiver, John Jefferson, a matter of inches meant that Green Bay had to punt. When J.J. couldn't come up with it with less than 8 minutes left, the Pack looked like their playoff path had come to a bitter end. But just when things looked their darkest, the boys from Titletown came up with another one of a seemingly endless half full of big plays. Number 22, Mark Lee, was the man Cosby had just bowled over for a Cowboy touchdown moments earlier. And his catch of the tipped pass and subsequent 22-yard score was just what the Packers needed. Suddenly, Green Bay trailed by only 4 with plenty of time left. And another look reveals that Lee was simply a heads-up player in the right place at the right time. Lee's touchdown made it 30-26 Dallas. One question remained. All day long, the Cowboys had answered a Packers score with a score of their own. Could they do it again? With less than 6 minutes left, Dallas held a precarious 4-point lead. With the game on the line, they gambled, and they came up big. Tony Hill is nicknamed the Thrill, and his 49-yard reception is yet another example why he deserves that description. Again, Dallas came up with a long gainer to offset Green Bay's. All of Landry's graceful stars operated in perfect harmony. White's quick toss was true. Pearson's bomb was perfect. And Tony Hill pulled off a spectacular spin to make the catch. From the 1, it took Dallas exactly 1 play to score as Ron Spring's substitute, Robert Newhouse, plowed over for the touchdown. Newhouse's power running has been his trademark in the NFL. And his latest effort resulted in a 37-26 Cowboy lead. Again, Green Bay needed a pair of major scores to take the lead. But Doomsday was not about to make it easy for Dickey. Number 72, Ed Jones, came on a stun and pounded Dickey to the turf. And all Dallas had to do was stay on the ground with less than 3 minutes left to salt the game away. Dickey is indeed a courageous performer, as his numerous injuries and subsequent comebacks can attest. All he wanted was 2 more chances to score, and Tony Dorsett promptly provided him with an opportunity moments later. Number 68, Herb Scott, made a touchdown-saving tackle following Dorsett's fumble. But after Dickey was knocked out of the game for a couple of plays, Doomsday set its sights on Dickey's replacement, David Whitehurst. Number 60, Don Smerick, made Whitehurst the sacrificial lamb. And with time running out on the Packers, Dickey returned, hoping for a quick score. The game ended for all intents and purposes when Dennis Thurman picked off his record-tying 3rd interception of the contest, allowing Danny White to take 3 snaps and run out the clock. In a game of big plays, Dallas simply made more of them. Yet even in defeat, the Packers must be proud. They proved they had every reason to be here in Dallas playing in such a critical game. They played extremely well, but when the going got tough, Dallas proved that they had just a little bit more of the stuff which determines a true champion. For Dallas, they are but 2 games away from being this year's champions. What a thriller it will be when the Cowboys roll into RFK Stadium Sunday for a showdown with the Redskins.